Welcome to the Well Woman Show, where we interview women executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
And you're listening to the Well Woman Show,
where motivated women achieve fulfillment and well-being.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
Take time for myself by coming to things like Well Woman Drinks.
To be accepting of myself no matter what. Step away from judgment as much as possible.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're going to be in for a good ride. I don't regret anything. Everything I've ever done, I've learned from it, one way or another, good or bad.
Being a little bit selfish for yourself, put your own oxygen mask on first and then give what's left.
I'm a woman. I would prefer to tell my own story. My story, though it's very personal, is universal.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show. And now your host, Giovanna Rossi.
Hi, Giovanna Rossi here, and welcome to another episode of the Well Woman Show, where I interview women leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs about their lives and their road to becoming and being who they are today. Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed with your responsibilities, and it seems like you'll never get it all done? Well, you're not alone. We all need to remember to use our superpowers, the ones we already have but don't use all the time, and take advice and wisdom from one another. Towards the end of the show, in a segment called Superpowers for Success, I ask my guest about her superpowers, and the answers will give you the strength, perspective, and power to keep on being the well woman you are. I'm so happy you're here, so thanks for tuning in. Today's topic is how to discover your worth. And hopefully by the end of the show, you'll be inspired to listen to your internal voice instead of external criticism. Cut out individuals in your life that bring you down and refuse to accept anything below what you are worth. My guest today is Lexi Palmer. Lexi is the CEO of Equisec, a research-based company whose goal it is to share research and help horse owners learn as much as possible about their horses, primarily through genetic tests and continuous scientific discoveries. Lexi is a graduate of the University of New Mexico and obtained a bachelor's degree in interpersonal communications. She's known for her inspirational presentations on goal setting for school kids. In today's episode, Lexi and I talk about the importance of including women in the tech industry, listening to your inner voice instead of criticism from others, and only accepting what you're worth. The free giveaway today is Lexi's tips on boosting engagement on social media. I really like this giveaway because it gives you 6 very specific things you can do quickly to promote your business or organization and grow your following on Facebook. Now to my interview with Lexi. Okay, I'm sitting here with Lexi Palmer. Welcome to the show, Lexi.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So let's start, Lexi. You have a really interesting background. You're a young entrepreneur and you have a lot going on. What are you working on that you're passionate about? Like, what are you working on that you just really are excited about? And how does it impact women's lives and well-being?
There's the cool thing about my job is there's a lot of things that I'm really passionate about. On the horse side, I've grown up with horses my entire life. So being able to help develop a product that will give you a lifetime with your best friend that's the coolest thing in the world. On a female front, it's amazing that I get to be around scientists and all these discoveries. And I've actually been able to pull in more women to the tech field. So all of our interns are females. The majority of our, hands-on team, they're all females. So being able to work with them and help grow that passion, cultivate that passion with them has just been a dream.
Oh, okay. So let's back up. What is the exact product that you all are developing and putting out to market?
So we developed a hair sample, so a genetic test to let you know whether your horse will develop an adult onset muscle wasting disease or not. There's different types and different variations of the specific disease. So really we started with that and we're just knocking out different diseases as we go. But they're all irreversible, progressive, and untreatable. So we're helping breed them out.
And how long has it been on the market?
We went to market in August of this year. So it hasn't been that long, actually, and we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback, and we are actually putting out 2 more tests in the next few months, which is really exciting.
What does that mean, putting out 2 more tests? Can you explain that?
Basically, 2 different diseases that we can now test for, and they'll help you. So you pull your horse's hair, you mail the hair to us. we let you know if you should either buy that horse, not buy that horse, breed that horse, or not breed that horse. It's kind of like a Carfax for horses.
Okay, so you developed the one test for the one disease, and now you're going out with 2 different other things that you can test for.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And where are your customers?
All over the world, actually. We just opened, so we're global now, which is very cool. So we have customers in Europe, we have customers in Australia, we have customers in Canada, and all over the United States.
That's very cool. And I want to go back to something you mentioned when we first started talking about hiring female interns and getting more women into the tech industry. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so I actually don't have a tech background. My background is in communications. So I went through school and they talk about when you're younger and you're, I think, 12 to 14, females and a lot of girls usually drop out of STEM because you're, kind of told that's not what you're supposed to do. I did that. I was told, oh, you're really pretty, but you're not very smart, communications, And I love communications. But when I started getting, into EquiSeek and understanding all the science, I realized there's so much here to learn and there's so much potential for bigger things. One of my big dreams for this company is to have it a predominantly female company. I've pulled on interns that have just been out of this world. I mean, these women are brilliant. The women on our team are brilliant. And I think that a lot of times people don't, they don't know that. They don't know their own abilities. And so one of the things that I really love doing is pulling on these women and reminding them that they're here for a reason and that they're smart and that they're worth something. And I've just watched them perform and it's amazing. One of our interns actually just won she did her first kind of startup competition. She won I think it was for the UNM student pitch competition. She won it. It was her first one. And
was that for her own company?
That was for her own idea. Yes. And I just want to I want to watch women grow and I want them to be confident in their abilities, not just their looks. So whether that's with EquiSeek, with, their own passions, I love it. I think it's great.
So you're mentoring other women, it sounds like. Did you have a mentor that helped you get to this point?
I had a few. Unfortunately, I didn't have any female mentors. I had one of my close friends, actually, I think you interviewed her, Monica Bencomo. She and I, we've been friends for a few years. And so I kind of watched her success and, thought, she's really doing something amazing. And she and I both had talked about our dreams and what we wanted to do. But other than her, there really hasn't been any females, especially in biotech. It's hard to find people to kind of look up to. So it's a male-run area.
Yeah. And Lexi, you have an interesting story and a really inspirational story. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So I, like I said before, I was never really known as the overachiever or the really smart kid or the one who's really going to accomplish much. And I got patted on the head a lot. Everyone told me, oh, at least you're pretty. You have that going for you. So I never thought, no one ever told me I could do anything amazing. So I never believed I could. And then finally, I was doing the things that society told me to do when you're 22 and 23. And I was not happy. I was working a 9-to-5 job and I realized that I could not do that for the rest of my life. I would have rather done anything else. And so a few years ago, I decided, probably like 2 years ago now, I decided I'm going to try to start my own business. I've always been passionate about helping kids. That was my dream, is to be a motivational speaker and inspire kids to have confidence in themselves. Unfortunately, when you're 22, 23 without a lot of life experience, that's a little hard. I was like, I'm going to do this. I don't know how. So spent a summer, kind of lost touch. A lot of my friends kind of alienated me. I chose my dream and my passion over the entire life I'd created for myself in New Mexico over the past 5 years, and just kind of went for it. I did not have a lot of support when I first started. I had a lot of people telling me, okay, good luck, but I don't think you're going to do this. You really should have a backup plan. My parents were, begging me, please, anything but this. They're both entrepreneurs, so I'm guessing that they knew the struggles that came along with it. And I basically said, I have no idea what I'm doing, but this is better than what I would be doing, just 9 to 5, kind of the normal stuff. So might as well just go for it. And I did. And I started my first LLC, Meraki Ventures, August 28th of 2015, the day before my 23rd birthday. That was my goal. And then a few weeks later, I met Paul, the founder of EchoSeek, and basically got this opportunity, worked for him as an intern for a few weeks. And then he asked me what I thought my position should be. And I told him I should be running the company, which I don't recommend to everybody. But if you do that and it doesn't go well, you can't blame me. But he basically said, here's your opportunity for your story. If you want your story, if you can build this company up, we need a CEO and we need somebody to take this over. And I just went for it.
Okay, but why did those words come out of your mouth at that moment?
I sort of developed over the summer, when you're in college, you kind of build this family of friends and, you have significant others, you have kind of a family that you build in college. And that becomes your everything. You do everything with them. You go through your experiences with them. You go through your hardships. So when they kind of turned against me and basically forced me to choose between my dream and them, in my head, obviously I know I'm still a very lucky person. I didn't lose everything. But in my head at that point, I had lost everything that made me who I was. And I really, I had no option but to keep going. And I committed fully to my dream of doing, working for myself, running my own business. And that was my mentality, was just, I'm going to do this at whatever cost because I have nothing else left to lose.
And so when Paul asked you, what do you want your position to be? How did you come up with, I'll be the CEO?
So he had asked me, he had kind of danced around the question. So he said, well, what do you think? What do you think you're going to do in a few years with the company? What do you see yourself doing? I said marketing, because I love marketing. It was like, I can kind of translate the technical stuff into a product. I can sell it. So maybe director of sales. He goes, I'll think a little bigger. It's like director of marketing outreach. He's like, okay, well, think, in a few years, what do you see yourself as this, in this company? And I said, well, I see myself as the face of it. I'm a horse person. I'm a female. I know how to talk to these people. You guys are the scientists. He goes, okay, what's another name for that? In the back of my head, I'm going, this is not it. I'm going, is he really mean that? And I said, CEO. And after I said, I was like, oh my God, I just asked the founder of this company if I can basically take over. I'm insane. He's going to fire me. And to my surprise, that was kind of what I guess he was hinting at. And he said, yeah, do you want this? I said, I was ready 3 months ago. Which is another very cocky thing to say because I had no idea what I was doing at the time. But, I've kind of learned as I've gone. It's been great.
Wow. So talk a little bit more about that transition of feeling like you lost it all and then how you pulled yourself out of that and continued and had that inner confidence to really push yourself forward.
It was a long time. I don't know if a lot of people can probably relate in their own way, but there's a thing called emotional isolation where you believe that you're the only one kind of going through this stuff. So I was numb. I was never happy. When I was happy, I'd feel guilty for being happy. And I sort of almost forced myself to become a victim of circumstance. And I was doing everything I wanted to do, but I wasn't allowing myself to be happy. So it was frustrating too. It was almost like I knew my potential. I knew what I wanted to accomplish and what I could accomplish. And I felt like no one else believed it. And so as I tried to explain, or I wrote a lot. I wrote in my journal. So one of the things I wrote was just, like basically trying to scream at a brick wall and get it to move. Like you're yelling and you're fighting and you're kicking and you're, trying to defend yourself and nothing's happening. And so, there is a lot of time. And now I kind of see that, all entrepreneurs, but I kept asking myself, am I crazy for doing this? Am I crazy for chasing something that doesn't exist and trying to make it into a reality? Now I'm realizing that all entrepreneurs have that. Yeah. But one of the things that really when I started kind of healing, I guess it was almost a year ago now, I cried a lot. And then I started realizing that other people were going through this, and there were other people struggling in the same way with different obstacles. And then I started realizing that the people who were isolating me weren't the people that I needed to be around to begin with. And I started kind of shifting my perception from being a victim to just being a person. I was taking it day by day, just kind of, if I can get through today, I can get through anything. And just keeping myself as busy as possible and just really putting everything I had into my work.
And when you started emerging out of the emotional isolation and kicking that to the curb kind of and reconnecting, how did you do that? Like, were there specific people who were like, oh no, I understand where you're coming from? I mean, did you make personal connections, or was it like you read a book? I mean, how did you then make that connection like, oh, I've been isolated?
Paul had actually mentioned that emotional isolation was an issue with CEOs, and there was a huge issue with depression. He told me it's kind of a heads up, and I basically told him I just went through that, so we're good. I talked to a few people who had felt the same way, and then the interesting thing, which for some reason made me feel better, was I Googled it. Because I love learning these things. So I was trying to read about it and understand it a little more. There were a few scientific articles, but nobody really wrote about it. No one really talked about this. And, after learning that and learning all these other people had gone through it, I kind of got the hint that everyone sort of goes through it, but we just are embarrassed to talk about it. We want to talk about our success. And especially as females, we can't be weak. We can't be upset because we're too emotional. We're too this, we're too that. But the reality of the situation is we've all gone through this. So what I started doing, which is what I kind of have always done, is I take that energy and that anger and that hurt, and I try to channel it into something positive. So for me, it's, running and helping kids. So I was working in classrooms a lot. I was forcing myself to speak a lot and just really focus on things that made me happy instead of what made other people happy. And that sort of helped me get out of it. And then, of course, the more traction I got with work, the more excited I got. And being able to watch your dream get lived out, I mean, you can't be upset when that happens. It's a really, really cool thing.
And have you found a community of other female entrepreneurs to, share and have camaraderie with?
I have actually. One of the amazing things and one of the things I love about New Mexico is that there's mean people everywhere, but the women I've met in Albuquerque are so supportive of each other. And it's really refreshing to be around that. There's a group and we're all, people think we're all competing, everybody in the startup community, but when one of us wins, we all win. It's a win for females. It's a win for Albuquerque. And everyone kind of has that same mentality, which is really cool. We're all a team, even though we're all working by ourselves.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay. And Lexi, I want to move into a segment called Superpowers for Success and ask a few quick round questions here. Mm-hmm. What does success in life mean for you?
Oh, goodness. That's an interesting one. For me, what I've learned is success in life just means being happy. Waking up and being happy, going to work, being happy coming home, and just really loving everything you do. I mean, regardless of what that is the ultimate sign of success. If you live every aspect of your life, what more could you ask for?
Okay. And when did you know that you are really good at what you do? When did that happen for you?
That's a hard question. Because I think I question myself every day on that. But, I'm still learning. I'm 24. I still am trying to figure out what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. I learned about 3 years ago, I told my parents I was going to go meet friends in Europe, and then I just went on a month-long trip by myself. And I kept running into these issues, and I kept solving them myself. And I remember distinctively sitting on a bus going from Prague to Belgium, like this 20-hour bus that I somehow managed to get on, not speaking the language, not really knowing anything, and realizing that I had done everything I needed to on my own. I didn't rely on anybody else. I didn't need any help from anybody else. So I guess I kind of realized that I can always, I have to trust my instinct more, and that I'm good at figuring out problems and solving them. And that really, everything I've been quote unquote good at, I guess, over the past year has just been that. It's knowing that I will be able to figure something out, even if I have no idea what I'm doing at the time.
I love that, because that's so central to a lot of what we talk about on the Well Woman Show and in Well Woman Life, which is to really identify your power. Mm-hmm. And when you know your power inside, there's really nothing you can't do. I mean, you're unstoppable.
And that's what I want. My entire goal is to teach as many people that at a young age as possible, because it took me 20 years to realize that I'm worth everything I just decide to be worth, and that I'm not worth everything I decide not to be worth. And it's an amazing and empowering feeling to know I can do this. And whatever that is, whether it's genetics or writing or running or anything you want to do, there's really nothing stopping you. It's just, kind of a mentality.
And don't you think that it's more than someone telling you, oh, you're worth it, you can do it? It's so much more than just the words, because if the person isn't ready to hear that, it's almost like they have to be shown. Yeah. Or you have to believe in them for them to really start believing it themselves.
Exactly. I had people, they tell me now, oh, I believed in you the entire time. But if it's like, great, okay, that's really helpful. But no, I still get people that tell me, oh, because there's some things, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. So I really strive to get things the way that I want them. If they don't go the way I want, sometimes I still beat myself up. And people always tell me, you'll get it. You'll get it. You always get it. You always figure it out. And even when they say it, I kind of, yeah, whatever. But it takes me sitting down and going, okay, yeah, I really want this. How am I going to get this? Yeah, okay, I'm going to get this. I don't listen to anybody else. You got to listen to yourself. The rest is just kind of white noise.
Okay, and Lexi, describe one personal habit that contributes to your well-being.
I write a little bit for Elite Daily, and one of the articles I wrote is it's about being selfish and putting yourself first. I use an analogy of gas in your car. So when you're driving along the freeway and you see somebody that runs out of gas and needs gas on the side of the road, you can give them a little bit of your gas, but that's going to limit your trip. So you really have to be careful, because if you give all your gas away, there's no saying that those people on that road trip are going to turn around to help you too. So, what I try to do is watch out for myself, make sure that I'm taken care of, healthy and happy, and then focus on other people. And I expect them to do the same. I would never expect anybody to sacrifice themselves for me, or their happiness or health for me. And I would, never do the same. And that, I think, has been a saving grace. As terrible as some people may think that sounds.
That's so funny, because we talk about being selfish a lot on the Well Woman Show, and it's like we're reclaiming the word selfish, and it's it's not a bad word. It's a good thing to focus on yourself first so that you can take care of other people. So we're having a selfish holiday party. I don't know if you know about it, but you should come. It's December 14th.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That I would love to come. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Selfish has such a negative connotation, and again, it's sort of this female thing where if you're selfish, oh God, that's not good. But as a man, you want it, you take everything for yourself. And I've been told lots of times that I'm, selfish and I'm not feminine enough. But how can you build a business? How can you build a brand? How can you build success if you are letting yourself fall apart? It's impossible.
What superpower did you discover you had only to realize it was there all the time?
I would say, again, just confidence in myself. I think that if you're confident in your abilities to handle any task, you can do anything you want. And that, like I said, that took me years to realize, is that I'm worth everything I decide to be worth. There's one of my favorite quotes from The Perks of Being a Wallflower is, "We accept the love we think we deserve." And it just really resonates with me because, I mean, that's true in every aspect of your life. Again, my superpower is just knowing what I'm worth and knowing what I stand for. And I don't stand for things that I don't believe I'm worth. And I've gotten very far because of that.
Love that. And Lexi, we all get knocked down sometimes. We have bad days, something doesn't go right, and sometimes it's kind of big. What do you do when you get knocked down? Like, how do you handle that?
I go through a process usually. There's like some helpful things I do, and then there's some probably really embarrassing things that I'll probably tell you that'll just be in the universe. So one of the things that I've been forcing on myself is when I was younger, I was told, or I was taught kind of not to show emotion, not to be upset. So I used to kind of bottle everything up. So what I try to do now is release the frustration and the upset. So I'll cry and I'll allow myself a certain time limit, depending on how big the, issue was, to kind of mope and be sorry for myself. One of the things I do to kind of get out of that depression or when I'm really upset is I sing musicals. So I'll listen to, I have like a playlist of 80 songs from all these musicals that I love, and I'll sing them over and over and over and over. And for some reason, that kind of makes me feel better. So I'll give myself a little time to mourn, and then I'll sit down and I'll kind of think, okay, what went wrong? Can I change it? Is it something that I can fix? If it's not something that I can fix, I kind of force myself to get over it. And if it's something that I can change, the next step is, how am I going to change this? How am I going to make sure that this doesn't happen again? And I keep a journal. So I write a checklist of how I'm going to get there and just kind of mourn and then fight for it.
So it doesn't seem like anything stops you for that long. You kind of like keep pushing forward because you have this system in place. Mm-hmm. Okay. What advice would you give your 15 or 16-year-old self?
Oh my goodness. Don't date those boys. No, I'm just kidding. Really just that, you are worth so much more than you think you are. You're not just worth your looks. You're not just worth this face, and you're not just you're not just this girl. You're a human being, and you are going to be able to do whatever you set your mind to if you just do it.
Okay. And Lexi, do you identify as a feminist?
Oh, yeah. I'm very proud. I know that there's a little bit of stigma around that word, but I am a very proud feminist. I believe that people and women should be treated as human beings. I look at myself as a human being. I try not to look at myself as a, female in a male-run industry. But yeah, I'm a very proud feminist.
Okay. And then last question, just for fun, what are you reading right now? What's on your nightstand?
Oh, it's pretty nerdy. It's 100, I don't know the exact title, but it's about neuromarketing. So the psychology behind marketing. It's 100 different ways to help brand your product and cost analysis and things like that. It's really good, though, if anybody is interested in marketing and neuromarketing.
Good bedtime reading. Exactly. Well, Lexi, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciated it.
That's it for our show today. I've been speaking with Lexi Palmer. Lexi is the CEO of Equisec, an advocate for youth and an avid equestrian. Lexi and I spoke about the importance of including women in the tech world, using inner motivation as your compass, and refusing to accept anything below what you are worth. You can get this week's freebie at wellwomanlife.com/046show. And it's a very cool giveaway because it gives you 6 really specific things you can do quickly to promote your business or your organization and grow your following on Facebook. If you're ready to join the Well Woman Life community, visit us at Well Woman Life and join us at one of our events. Our monthly live event, Well Woman Drinks, brings together women to share our successes and challenges as women leaders, moms, aunts, sisters, and all the other roles we carry. If you'd like to attend a Well Woman Drinks near you, or if there isn't one and you're wanting to start one in your city, email me at info@wellwomanlife.com and become part of the Well Woman movement. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment and subscribe to the show in iTunes and leave a review. You can also continue the conversation in the Well Woman Life community group at facebook.com/groups/Well Woman Life community. For feedback, comments, or just to let me know you were listening today, find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Well Woman Life. I'm Giovanna Rossi for The Well Woman Show. Until next time, have a super powerful week.